Hi everyone, this is Mitch. I want to take a quick moment to go through the output of SnapShot that we just created in our introduction video that I'll link down below if you didn't see that. And so basically when you run SnapShot, it creates a folder system with pretty much the layout that you saw in the application itself. So we have administration, business management, customization, email configuration, and security. Then we have a couple processing logs here that you can just basically see what happened behind the scenes or either in front of you for the processing log here. So let's kind of walk through each of these so you can just kind of see what's in them, and then when I break down the individual reports themselves, I'll go further in detail to all of these. So administration has two reports. The first is just a dump of all the administration settings and other things, as well as the duplicate detection settings. So all of these reports, or most of these reports, are going to be either in Excel format, which is the majority, or in Microsoft Word format, depending on the nature of the data that was inside the system that I documented. So for business management, we have the business management settings, and then I separated out queues because queues can be quite large, and I didn't want to overpower Excel with a lot of data. So I separated that out for that reason. Customizations is going to be dependent on what settings you selected. So in this case, we selected form detail. So this will be a list of all of the detail for the forms that you have. And again, we'll go into this in greater detail later. And then I split things out into what I hope is kind of a logical progression. So from the bottom up, I have a sitemap, which is just a textual representation of the complete sitemap, not individual sitemaps, but the overall sitemap for the entire organization. Components that are part of the user interface, so things like JavaScript and other things that you will see on the interface. The metadata that you see, basically all of the entities and fields, etc. And then a list of business processes and other things that happen behind the scenes. And I kind of separated out with version 5 because the worksheets were actually getting too large. They were basically way too many tabs or worksheets within the workbook, and they were also quite large. So as you can imagine, so this is 2.7 megabytes with another half a meg. So that would have put it right at 3 megabytes or so, if not, or actually over 3 megabytes. And so that just got kind of big, and so I just separated those out with version 5. And again, we'll go into these in more detail later. So email configuration is just a single worksheet, and what is in that is just all of the information about your email configuration, your mailbox configuration, and stuff that's related to users. Security can be quite large depending on the settings you've selected, but I've tried to break everything out into kind of unique stuff. So access team templates, business units, and there are two versions of this, a raw data kind of columnar feed for business units, and then kind of a hierarchical view of the data in a doc file, same file name, different document type. Field security settings, hierarchy settings, positions, list of security roles, team membership, teams and users. And again, the reason that I have these separated out into individual worksheets instead of having them all in one is because it just got too large to manage, and it would, depending on the number of users, like if you have thousands of users, then you have thousands of rows that you have to keep track of and things. So security roles is a basically Word document per security role. And these are security roles that have been customized or custom to the system in most cases is what this is. Well, now I'll talk about that later. The raw data is basically the same information, except for the fact it's as I get it out of the system. So in all honesty, it's just a series of privileges, just names is all it is. Whereas the documents in the security roles is actually a document with the circles that describe the security, just like you see within the user interface. And again, we'll get into those later. So this is the basic overall output, and what will happen is you will either see or not see the folders in front of you depending on what options you selected. So if you're only after customization, then you won't see any administration or business management, email configuration, security, etc. So again, depending on your selection within the application, you'll either see or not see a folder. And again, we'll get into these each individual in detail in just a second. Thanks a lot.